Hey everyone, today we have Nikita with us from MailDoso. He's the founder of MailDoso and they are the number one way to create an alternative infrastructure for your cold emails. So forget about Outlook, Gmail, and MailDoso is the infrastructure you can try to get your email deliverability issues fixed. And with that, mostly we'll be focusing on email deliverability while doing cold emails in this session. So thank you very much, Nikita, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Awesome. So, if you can, Nikita, first start by telling us a bit about yourself, how you got this idea to start MailDoso.
The story of MailDoso started a few years ago, actually in Serbia, in airport of Nikola Tesla, when I had this idea to launch a marketplace for SEO professionals called backlinkswappers.com. And I literally registered a domain, backlinkswappers.com, in the airport while waiting for my flight. Because we were arranging backlink exchanges for SEO professionals, we had to reach out to relevant people. So cold email was number one acquisition channel for us. And we acquired over 600 customers using only cold email. And one of the biggest bottlenecks was email infrastructure, email accounts, so that we could scale our campaigns. We were sending over 10,000 cold emails per day. And we quickly realized that we need to build our own infrastructure. And we started doing this, and we've been working on it for 1.5 years. And after 1.5 years, email infrastructure was a lot, our entire cold email tech stack was a lot more complex than the whole product. The whole product was, I don't know, 20% of our effort, and then 90% of effort was on cold email tech stack. And I was sharing with my friends how we do cold email, how we purchase domains, how we automatically set up the key SPF and all that stuff, how we rotate IP addresses, how we create mailboxes and spread the volume across many of them. And there was like, can you teach me to do the same? And I realized, well, we had a whole team working on this, on this technology, and it's probably going to be like very hard to teach them how to do. And then after a few people asked me the same question, I thought maybe it would be wise to make a product for them so that they could start using it. So we made a landing page and we made a simple onboarding process and launched it almost a year ago. We launched it in the end of October last year as a separate product. And then it immediately took off. We saw a huge demand on the market. So we pivoted backlink swappers into MailDoso. So this is how it's all started, from the personal need, from a tool that we first built internally.
That's really interesting, and that's how a lot of founders start their SaaS business or a business in general, like from scratching your own itch, and then people start asking you how you are doing this amazing job. So, yeah, that sounds amazing. So, I think the main value proposition of MailDoso has to be that you get email deliverability the same as you would get from Gmail or Outlook, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
So awesome. So Nikita, can you summarize what is email deliverability basically and why is it important?
Sure. That's a very good question. So email deliverability is basically, it's kind of a metric, but nobody has definition of how exactly you can calculate this. But in the nutshell, it's an ability to land in inbox when you send emails, and if most of them land in spam, you have poor email deliverability. But then if all of them land in inbox, you have great email deliverability. And the Email deliverability encompasses so many factors, starting from your infrastructure, your domains, your IP addresses, your IP rotation strategies. Also, it encompasses your leads quality, how you verify your leads, how many of them are catch-all or like fully verified, if you send emails to unverified leads, how quickly you ramp up your sending volume, how many emails per day you send from each domain. But it also encompasses your email copy. If you send the same email over and over, like thousands of times, even if you have like the best infrastructure in the world, you end up in spam because spam filters, they analyze text and they see, okay, the same email was marked as spam 100 times before. Most likely it's spam. So I'm going to put this on spam. And then everything that you send that not looks like this email will land in inbox, but this one will land in spam. So a lot of people think that email deliverability, it's only IP address thing or mailbox thing, but it's actually all those aspects that I just mentioned, and they all important because spam filters these days, they're looking for red flags, and if you do something wrong, it's very easy to end up in spam.
That makes sense. So, what would you say are the key factors that would affect email deliverability? If someone is just starting off, what are some things that they should ensure that they are not doing wrong?
Yeah. So first of all, it's use right infrastructure. I highly recommend and to everybody start please to try email DOSA because it's so easy with us to set up your mailboxes and and you don't mess up with the settings. There will not there won't be any mistakes in your setting because like the whole process is automated, but also because if something goes wrong with your campaign, we have a team of analysts that will check your campaign, check what's going on the server level, something that most of the people don't see. And they will give you actionable advice on how you can recover your campaigns if they don't produce good results. Also, a very important factor that you need to keep in mind is your sequences. The emails that you send influence your email deliverability a lot. If there was one advice that I could give to people so that they could improve their email deliverability regardless of email provider they use, it would be update their sequences every week. So, and if you change your sequence, not just, paraphrase one or two sentences or just, change a few words, but if you launch a completely new sequence every week, you will always have a way better deliverability than if you sit and forget. I know a lot of people that launch one sequence and then just wait for 3 months, but spam filters, they have AI built in. They learn from people reaction. And if most of people click on spam button on your emails, they will start considering similar emails as spam, and your deliverability will tank. And then the third advice, of course, is a lead list IGN, use good data providers, don't scrape emails from the internet, always verify leads before sending emails. These are 3 key factors that are critical if you want your emails landed in inbox.
Yeah, and the point where you said that try to change your sequence and content of the email every week, that really resonates with me, because not only will it ensure that your emails are fresh, new, land in inbox, you also get to try multiple new copies and see what works best for you. And then if
Exactly.
the previous one work good, you can go back to it maybe after a month or so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right. So talking about emails, how many emails according to you, Nikita, should be sent from an email address and from a domain?
Yeah, this is a good question. I see a lot of different advices on the internet from different people. And I need to tell that the numbers might be slightly different for different email providers. For Google, for example, there could be one numbers. And it's mostly because you want to bypass Google filters on the sending side. Even before your emails were actually sent, Google is checking if your account is legit or it being used for spam. Because, well, most of the spam comes from Gmail. If you open your spam folder, you will see most of the emails there are gmail.com or hosted on Google Workspace.
Yeah, from
So,
free Gmail accounts.
yeah, like a lot, of course. And they know that. So they apply a lot of times, what we see, they apply a lot of control on the sending side. So when you send email, not when it's landed, but when you send. And because of that, there is advice on how many mailboxes per domain you can have and how many emails per day you can send so that you don't trigger red flags on the sending side. And what I've heard is anything between 2 mailboxes per domain, up to 5 mailboxes per domain, and up to 20 emails per day per mailbox, but the lower, the better. So if you can send 5 emails per day from each mailbox and have 2 mailboxes per domain, as far as I heard from people who actively use Google Workspace for outreach, they claim this is the best setup. While with
So
MailDoso,
5 emails per day per 5 emails per day per email address mailbox.
yeah, and have 2
Okay.
mailboxes per domain. This is advice
Okay.
I hear a lot from people who actively use Google Workspace.
Okay. And what about
So
Maildoso?
yeah, with us it's slightly different because we're not going to block your account because you do cold email, of course, because you don't violate our terms of use or something, because our platform is built for cold email. So we create 4 mailboxes per domain for our clients, and we have over 1,000 happy customers. So currently it's working well. We did a lot of analysis to understand how many mailboxes is okay to have for a fresh domain. When it's getting a little bit older, you can have a lot more mailboxes. And then we allow our customers to send, we recommend our customers to stick to 30 cold emails per day and 30 warm-up emails per day. So that if you stick to this rule, you will have the best deliverability. Although you can go a little bit higher, but I wouldn't recommend doing this.
Interesting. So you are using Maildoso from one mailbox. Anyone can send up to 30 emails a day and warm up 30 emails, right?
Say it again. I didn't hear the
So
first part.
using Maildoso, anyone can start an outreach system and they can send 30 emails per mailbox and
Per day,
at
yeah.
the same time send 30 emails as in the warm-up process using any tool, right?
Exactly. Yes.
I see.
So as you can see, our solution just a lot more cost efficient, not only because our mailboxes are just our pricing structure is a lot more efficient because we're not going to charge you for calendar, for Google Meet, for Google Drive, for 100 gigabytes of Google Drive that's included into Google Workspace licenses.
Yeah.
but also
And you
because
don't need that for cold email anyway, but you still have to buy it.
yeah, you have to pay for this. And then,
Yeah.
of course, we also allow you to send more emails, and we build our infrastructure in the way so that people could send more emails. So
Interesting.
that's going to be recommendation.
Can you tell me a bit about why DKIM, SPF, and DMARC are important for email deliverability?
Yeah,
And how do
sure.
you guys how do you guys set it up with Maildoso? Like it is automated or the user has to do something?
Yeah, sure. We have a fully automated solution when our customers buy new domains, all these records being set up instantly. I was literally on a call with a customer yesterday, and he bought 100 domains, and he asked me if I can just join a call and show him how to do everything with Maildosa. In reality, I was just sitting and watching how he do everything, but he was surprised when he got 100 domains registered in 1 minute. It was like, is that done? And it happens because when you buy domains, they actually, all of them bought in parallel. So we immediately launch 100 processes that each of them go and buy each individual domain and set up all these records. And it's only possible because we've built a very strong infrastructure, and we have enterprise contracts with all downstream, with all vendors that provide us domain and DNS management stuff. And then these records, they mostly needed for email providers to verify first if you are, it's just like a way to protect against phishing attacks, because in reality, anyone can send an email from, let's say, Tim Cook, right? You can nothing stops you to to set up your own email server and start sending emails from apple.com. But then receiving server need to verify if your server is actually eligible to send those emails. Is it allowed? And then it goes to apple.com and start checking the KIM SPF records to check if you actually can send these emails. And then if you fail to, if they don't match, if SPF don't tell, like, okay, this server is can send emails, if the KIM doesn't match, most likely your email will end up in spam because it will be considered as a phishing attempt. And then the mark, of course, it just tells what to do with these emails. So as you can understand, they're critically important. If you don't set them up, most likely your emails will land in spam.
Then what tools do you recommend to monitor and measure email deliverability?
That's a very good question. So the most important metric I would look at is reply rate. It's the easiest one. In 2024, you cannot measure open rates because of the Google restrictions. And if you send emails with open rate tracker, your emails will have this, banner on top saying it's most likely a spam because it has hidden images. And then you will get a lot of spam complaints, and eventually your deliverability will tank regardless of email provider you use. If you send, like, you can send emails from Gmail, but you will end up in spam. So the most important metric to look at is reply rate, but also you can do inbox placement tests to see where actually your emails are landing. And these inbox placement tests will show you, okay, so the Google send
So
all
any
your email.
particular tools that you would recommend to measure email deliverability?
We actively use MailReach for inbox placement tests. I know a lot of people use Glock apps as well. So these tools are the most popular to measure inbox placement tests. Those are this is, if you do cold email in 2024, you should probably learn how to use these tools and how to interpret, how to read, results that they showing to you. Because if you learn how to, how to use them, you will always have good deliverability because you will have a North Star showing you, what you can do to improve your copy and start landing into inbox.
And you mentioned that using MailDoso, 30 emails can be sent per day, 30 cold emails, right? So should someone who is going to start using MailDoso right after, listening to this, should they start sending 30 emails from day one, or do you recommend some kind of, ramping up, like start sending three at first, then 10, and then so on?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's always a good idea to ramp up your sending volumes slowly, because email service providers, they learned to identify spikes in sending. This is mostly what spammers do. They buy a new server, they buy a new domain, and their goal is to send millions of emails in an hour, to send them faster than spam filters learned how to identify them, because spam filters are slow, so that they have a separate system that analyze how many emails, like your sending history. And if you increase your sending volumes like 3 times in just one day, most likely your mailbox and domain will get burned. It's not the end of the world, but it's just not, unpleasant to run into something like this. So what you want to do is to slowly increase your warm-up emails and also slowly increase your campaign volumes. So yeah, as you mentioned, ideally if you start with 3 emails per day per mailbox and slowly ramp up until you reach the full capacity.
So, Nikita, what do you say? How do you see, so Nikita, how do you see email deliverability evolving over the next, let's say, few years, 5 years, 10 years? Because you are in this business. If email deliverability changes, and there are so many reports coming that Google will start blocking this and that, and you are probably the business most at risk if cold emails somewhat stops working in that sense. What do you think? Where do you see email deliverability going in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think the next 3 to 5 years are gonna be very fun and challenging for the cold email players. Every year it becomes only harder. A lot of people say that 10 years ago it was so easy to do cold email. These days, even if you figured out the deliverability part, now you are in the crowded mailbox with literally hundreds of other people that also send cold emails, and you need to stand out and make this person somehow at least read your email. And this getting harder and harder every year. Google just recently announced that they will apply advanced spam protection system. I don't believe they will employ full scale AI on the content filtering, because it's in my opinion it's crazy expensive, but we'll see. But the moment in time when they start using AI actively to identify spam, unsolicited emails, let's say this way, by analyzing content, in that moment, the cold email game will change forever, and we will have to adopt and learn new ways on how to sell products and services over email, because it's so easy you can try it yourself. Just take one of your emails you sending or you received and ask ChatGPT, is it unsolicited email or not? Just reply yes or no, and you will see ChatGPT will definitely say yeah what it thinks about it. So after they release a full-scale AI, that would become certainly a new game. But however, because cold email is so cheap, like comparing to ads, it costs nothing. People, to get the same number of deals, they have to pay thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to Facebook or LinkedIn or Google Ads. And with cold email, they can get the same number of deals for a fraction of cost, for 1% of the cost. I mean, the infrastructure is cheap, even Google Workspace. Just compare it to Facebook ads, and you will see it's nothing. And
Yeah, that's very
leads,
true.
leads, email automation, and it only becomes cheaper. Everything becomes cheaper in this space. We used to have, expensive, Apollo accounts, and then, Smart Lead and instantly popped up and made, this unlimited mailboxes feature that everybody can use for just $40 a month. So the barrier of entry getting lower because it's so lucrative, and it will stay so lucrative to do cold emails. So I believe that we will have to kind of evolve in how we do cold email to stay in the game. It's gonna be very interesting.
That's really interesting. So, the last question, Nikita, would be that what places or some resources you recommend where our listeners can go to learn more about cold email, email deliverability, and all these things.
This is a very good question. I know there is a huge cold email community on LinkedIn. Just type a few cold email related keywords into search. You will find people, and then check comments, and then you will find more people who write about cold email. And then, after a week of research, you will have your feed flooded with cold email content. So now, and then these days, I would say LinkedIn one of the best places to learn about cold email, because of a lot of great people share their advices and their what they discover, and their thoughts and their most recent events. Yeah. And then also you can go to our website, maildoso.com, and then in the footer of the website, we have cold email deliverability guide. And it's simple rules that you can follow to always have great deliverability. All our top 10% of customers who send over 10,000 or 100,000 cold emails per day, they religiously follow these rules, because they just built for you to always outrun spam filters and make sure you always land in inbox. I always recommend to my peers to check this advice and follow it. And if you follow it, you will always have great deliverability.
That is actually a very good resource that you have on your website. Absolutely. So you guys should go ahead and check it out on the MailDoso website. You can find the link in the description somewhere, and do check it out. So with that, thank you, Nikita, very much for joining us today and helping our listeners understand all the nuances of email deliverability.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It was a very nice conversation.